Kadosh Boker Or Daf Yomi Masechet Shevuot Daf Lamebet Amud Aleph. Hakadosh Baruch Hu Rotzeh et Lev. Yeah, he comes and he says like this. We're talking about now Lev. What is Lev? He comes and he says Ratz Acharehem Itzrichale. You remember we were talking about that if somebody's running after you to get the learning, to get the testimony. So Salka Daita Chamina, I would have thought to say Kevin the Ratz Acharehem, since he's running after them. It's ki'ilu that he already told them that he wanted them to testify about him. So Kamash Malan comes to teach you Shemuel that even in such a case they're not chayavim until they hear mefurash from him that he wants them to testify. So for even though they swore before he said anything, zeklum. V'hanami tanina, we also actually learned this in Mishnah. Shevuot edut ketzad amar lehedim bo v'edinu Shevuot. So then that's fine. Amar in, and then they said yes. Lo amar lo. But if he didn't say no. What does that mean? They make a duke from the Mishnah that it's only if he asks for them to give the testimony. But as long as he didn't ask to give the testimony, it's nothing. So I could make it, deduce it from the Mishnah that it has to be that he's the one that's demanding the testimony. So the answer is the Gemara, Amar is lav dafka. Meaning when it said the word that he told them, I want you to testify, that's going to be lav dafka. Dilo tem is if you're not going to say that. Gabe pikadon diktani by pikadon, it's written, Shevuot pikadon keitzad. Amar lo ten li pikadon sheyesh biyadcha hanami. So too, Amar in lo amar lo. He says ha v'chichesh b'mito kol dehu. Right, when it says v'chichesh b'mito means that he's renouncing that he doesn't have anything. That's in any form. Ela, but rather Amar is lav dafka. So hanami also that the word Amar is going to be lav dafka. So says the Gemara, I don't understand what you're saying. Hi mai. What does that mean? What raya is there? He says, if you're going to tell me Amar de Hacha is Dafka, so Tanahatam, we learned it over there by Shevuot Pikadona to Hacha, right? Because of the Shevuot Edut. But if you're going to tell me that the Lashon of Amar over there is Dafka, and Lo Amar de Hacha, so 1 second. So Amar, so why do we have Amar then? Why do we have two different Mishnayot coming and teaching you Amar if both of them is Lav Dafka? It doesn't make sense. So he says, okay, Dilma orcha deminta kamashmana. Maybe it's coming to teach you something, derech agav, that usually it's that somebody's coming and asking you to testify before you come and you give a Shevuah about what's going on or not. The Tanya Kaveted de Shmuel, we actually learned a Braita in accordance to Shmuel. Ra'u sheba acharehen v'amru lo mata ba acharenu. Shevuah she'enenu yudim lecha edut. Pturin, they're going to be paturin. Ve'im be'pikadon, but if this happened by pikadon, they're going to be chayavin. So you see from here that there's going to be a difference between pikadon and between Shevuot Edut. Pikadon v'chichesh b'mito is that even if you don't ask me anything, and I come and on my own I swear that I don't have anything of yours, and therefore it's v'chichesh ba, correct? Which means that I reject, I renounce, I say I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing nothing what you have, and this is even before you even ask me for anything. You're going to be chayav in such a case. But the case of Shevuot Edut, you're only going to be chayav if he asks you to testify. Fine. 2 dots. You remember we spoke about that. What happens if he made them swear 5 times outside of the Bedin? And each time they said, no, they don't know anything. And then they come to the Bedin. And he was modeh. So he's going to be pturin. But if he was also kofer and Bedin, so now he's going to be chayav on every single one. How do you know that if you're going to be kofer and bedin, you're going to be chayav, and a chutz bedin, you're not going to be chayav? So Abaye says it's a pasuk. Amakra im lo yagid v'nasa avono. If you're not going to say anything, so you're going to carry the sin. Lo amarti lecha ela bimkom she'ilu magid ze mitchayev ze mamon. When it says in the pasuk, if you're not going to say anything, that you're going to carry the burden of the sin, that's only if you would have said something, you can do something. Outside of Bedin, you cannot do anything. You could say whatever that you want, but you cannot do anything. So because you cannot do anything, so therefore the same pasuk which is teaching you that if you don't say something, right, that you're going to basically be in trouble, right, that you carry the sin for it, is the same thing of the other way around. So Amaleh of Papa Rabbi says Rabbi to Abaye, if so, Ema Shevuah Gufa, right? Why don't we just say the Shevuah itself? Bevedin Shelo bevedin lo. Only if it's going to be the Shevuah if you made it in the Bedin. If you didn't make it in the Bedin, no. So says the Gemara, lo saika daita. We're not going to say that. Why? The Tanya was we learned in the Braita, le'achat, vayachi yesham le'achat me'ele, le'achat lechayev, al kol echad ve'achat. You're going to be chayav on every single one of these Shevuot. Now, Isa, if you're going to tell me now, Vedin, you're never going to be chayav so many Shevuot. But now we already learned in the Mishnah. Yishpi aleim chamisha pamim v'idem Vedin, v'kafru chayvim le'achat. Amar Shmuel, what's the reasoning? Hol ve'enem yichulim lachzor v'lodot, because anyway, they cannot be modeh. So it doesn't help to continue swearing in a bedin. Meaning, in a bedin, well, you think that you're swearing more, it's going to help? It doesn't help. Obviously, we're talking about the Shevuah was done outside of a bedin, and only the kfirah was done in a bedin. So therefore, from here we learn that kfirah only helps inside a bedin, even though that the Shevuah only helps, meaning not only, but it helps outside of the bedin. That's the Gemara. Kafru shneim ka'achat. What happens if both of them, they were both kofer as one? They're both going to be chayavim. He says, 1 second. How do you do that? How could it be that it's going to be two actions in one? Meaning, how could they both be kofer in one shot? Usually, whenever you ask somebody, it's not that everyone answers together. You ask one by one. Someone of Chassa says, who is this? Rabbi Yosef Galilehi. That he said that you could be mechaven the two different things in one shot. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, even if it's going to be Rabbanan. It was תוך כדי דיבור. ותוך כדי דיבור כדיבור דמי. Meaning within the same second they both said, oh, we don't know anything. Right? Elmaleh Ravacha b'difto l'Ravina. Michti, let us see. תוך כדי דיבור kama. How much is תוך כדי דיבור? כדי שיהיה לתלמיד לרב. In order for a talmid to come and to say shalom to his rabbi. Right? And nowadays, because it's even half a second. Right? But in the olden days, it used to be mamash, shalom alecha, Rabbi umori. It used to take a little 3 seconds. Yeah? So it says, ad de'amri shivua she'enanu yodim lecha edut. He says 1 second, that's already much more. Meaning, if right now, if you're going to tell me that Tokeh de Dibur is, right, Shalom Alecha Rabbi Mori, these words, Shevuah She'enanu Yodim Lecha Edut, is already longer than that. So what does that mean? So Elmaleh, he says, Kol echad ve'echad toch diburo shel chavero. No. It was each one with Tokeh de Dibur of the friend. Meaning, I finished saying the Shevuah She'enanu Yodim Lecha Edut, and then you started saying Shevuah within the meaning not that the phrase that I said, well, no, but not that the phrase is the time in between the two, not that the phrase was Shalom Alecha Rabbi Mori. Fine. Next, 2 dots. What happens if it's going to be one after another? The Rishon is going to be Chayav, Sheni is going to be Patur. Right? So Matznitin. Now, why do we say that usually? We said that the Rishon is going to be Chayav and the second one is going to be Patur because once he was that's it. You don't have an Edim anymore. You need 2 Edim. So Matznitin the Loke Aitana. So our Mishnah is not like this Tana. The Tanya was learned to the Braita, Mashpia Ed Echad, he's going to be Patur. Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon is going to be Mechayev. So why don't we say, Lema ba Kabi Palgeh? Why don't we just say that this is Machlok between them? More Savar Ed Echad Kiata Lishua Udekata, Umor Savar Ed Echad Kiata Lemamona Kata. Meaning like this, when you have one ed coming, so why is that one ed coming? In order to be mechayev a Shevuah, not to be mechayev mamon. So therefore, in Shevuot edut no heged bo. But according to Rabbi Elazar, why is the one ed coming? Because he wants to be mechayev mamon. So according to that, that's why there is going to be Shevuot edut no heged bo. Okay, which means that when you only have one witness, right? Obviously, we know that one witness cannot really testify, right? But maybe he's coming to be mechayev a Shevuah. Or is going to be mechayev something mamon? So then that's the question. So v'tizbera, or is it logical to say that? Hamar Abaye says a kol modim. Everyone agrees. Be'ed sota, ve'akol modim, and everyone agrees. Right? He says over here be'edeh sota. Right? So it means everybody is going to be modeh that ed echad keneged sota or b'shne edeh sota, and the machloket is be'edeh sota hakol modim be'ed echad. Right? Ve'akol modim be'ed shekenegdo chashud al Shevuah. Meaning like this. Abaye comes and he says the following. Whether according to Tarakama or according to Rabbi Elazar, when you have a case of an Adam is mashpia ed echad lehaid keneged sota, I could come against one person and make him swear that he doesn't know about testimony to do with a sota. Right? Which means that there is a mikre mesuyam that ed echad is going to be chayav in a Shevuot edut. And what is that? That's going to be the case of a sota. Okay, now also everyone agrees by edeh sota. What are we talking about now by the edeh sota? he says the Shnei Edim Hayudim Edut Shel Sota, that everyone agrees that they're not going to be Chayavim Shvuat Edut, even if he's going to be Mashviach Shnehem. The Gemara is going to explain each of these cases, obviously. Now, there's going to be a machloket, right? That means one more time. Hakol modim be'ed sota and ede sota. One witness by a sota or two witnesses by a sota. The machloket is going to be by ede sota, right? Now, what's the case then? Because we're talking about, again, ede sota. Now it says, Hakol modim be'ed. Everyone is going to be admitting by one ed to do a dinei mamonot. Ve'akol modim, and everybody is going to be modim be'ed shekenegdo, which is chashuv ala shivua. Now again, it sounds like an enigma, because what are we talking about? So now we're going to explain, obviously. But the Gemara just says, Ela dechuli alma ed echad kiyata lishua kata. When one witness comes to Bedin, it's only for a shivua. You can't be mechayev anything else other than a shivua. Because if you only have one ed, what can you do already? Two edim is mechayev masho. אם עכשיו אני בא בתור עדות, ואני אומר שאתה חייב כסף אליו, אני לא יכול לעשות כלום, חוץ משבוע. למה? בגלל סוף סוף, מה אני יכול לחייב? אני לא יכול לחייב אפילו ממון. I can't obligate anything. I'm one witness. It's not two witnesses. You need two witnesses. So therefore, it's only going to be for חייב שבוע. והכה בא כמפלגי. So here the question is, מור סבר דבר הגורם לממון כממון דמי, ומור סבר לאו כממון דמי. Right now, according to Shitat Rabbi Elazar, he says that anything which causes money is like considered money. So therefore, since I'm going to say them is even an edut of ed echad is also going to be, right, I'm causing money. אם אני יכול לחייב אותך שבוע, זה כאילו שאני גרמתי לך לשלם. אז אם אני גורם לך לשלם, אז אני חייב שבועת העדות. If I swore that I didn't know anything, I'm חייב שבועת העדות. Tanakama holds, no, it's not like money. So let's go back to the original case. Gufa. Amar Abaye says, הכל מדים בעד סוטה, והכל מדים בעד סוטה, מחלוקת בעד סוטה, הכל מודים בעד אחד, והכל מודים בעד שכנגדו חשוב. Okay, fine, let's start. הכל מודים בעד סוטה. What does that mean? That he's going to be chayav. Here we're talking about an ed tum'ah. What does that mean? All you need is one ed tum'ah. Why? Because you already had two edim on the kinui v'stira. So therefore, in that case, if imu kafar, right, b'sheker, he's going to be chayav shvuat ha'edut according to everybody. Why? Terachmana hemne. Because the Torah believed him. Dichtiv ve'ed en ba. Kol sheyesh ba. Meaning something incredible. This we already learned in Masechet Sotah, if you remember. I think it was the first Mishnah. Right? How many edim do you need by a Sotah? So you need two witnesses for the kinui and the stira. Kinui, right? For the kinui, you need the two witnesses. Kinui is that he gives her the warning, don't be alone with this person. But what about tum'ah? Stira is the seclusion, right? How many witnesses do you need of tum'ah? According to what we're saying here, one witness is enough. Because it says, ve'ed en ba. Mashma shafilu im yesh ed echad ma? Betum'ah. She be'emet hayta ito. Yeah? So, how many edim? Which one? You need two edim that the husband gave the warning to the wife, don't be alone with the man. That you need two edim. But how many edim do you need that she actually went alone with the man? One. So the Gemara, the Torah says, ve'ed en ba. You know which parasha this is? Yeah? When is this? Next week. Next Shabbat. Parashat Naso. עוד פעם? כן. כן, הוא לא יכול להעיד. הוא צריך אש. Yeah, we need an ed. But one ed is מספיק. So, that she actually secluded herself with him. Because that she actually was by herself and that she actually did something. Or she actually did something. Right? So it comes out, yeah, look in the footnote, he says it. Right, he says if it's going to be in the Aseret, so therefore usually we always need two edim, but here even ed echad is going to be enough. Yeah. Ma? Yeah. So he says, ve'ed en ba kol sheyesh ba. So he says, והכל מודיעים בעדי סוטה שפטור, זאת אומרת, עדי קינה, עדי כינוי. Why is it עדי כינוי? תו הגורם דגורם. Remember, the kinui is according to everybody because that is only going to cause something else, right? Meaning it's a cause of a cause, which means this edut is goremet, the edim of the stira, and this stira is a gorem to be mechayev mamon. Remember that when she becomes a sotah, he's going to be patur from paying her ketubah. Yeah, so it's a gorem from mamon. But somebody's going to say, "What do I care?" He says, "No, but it's going to cause money. It's something which causes money." Okay, so therefore, but the two edim of the sotah, right? That's a gorem de gorem. So therefore, in the case of one ed, he's going to be chayav shevuat edut. In the case of the two edim edesota by kinui, they're going to be patur, right, from the shevuat edut. Yeah. Ede kinui. What I told you at the beginning. Edim that the husband was mekane beishto. Kinui. Ken. Right. Next, lamed bet amubet machloket beedesota. Right. What are we talking about? Beedestira. Right. Meaning that you have two witnesses for the stira. Right. Why? Right. That they basically came and she said that she actually was nistira. Now this is going to cause the woman to drink the maima marim or to lose the ketubah. Now, since it's made to make her lose the ketubah, it's considered eduta goremet lechiyuv mamon. Yeah, and therefore, if they were kofed, it's going to become the machloket that we just said before, right? Yeah, so therefore, more savar darara gorem lemamon kemamon dami, right? The more savar love kemamon dami. So that's a machloket. Fine. The other case, right? The other case now is a kol modim shekenegdo chashud ala shevua. Hakol modim be'ed echad Rabbi Yava. So he says when you're going to be mechayev on the kenegdo a shevua, so then everyone is going to agree like Rabbi Yava. What does that mean? Hakol modim shekenegdo chashud ala shevua. The chashid man, who's chashid? Ilema de chashid love. Ta'amar le malvei yati tasid liya ve'mishtabana v'shakilna. Ve'leimalem yemer de mishtabat. Who says I'm going to swear? Ela kegon shneim chashudim. They're both going to be chashudim. Ta'amar mor chazra shevua lemechuyav la. Umitoch shenu yachol yishava mishalem. Right? Basically like this. What happens right now if I come and I take somebody to Bedin? And the one that I'm taking to Bedin, technically he should have made a Shevuah to become Patur. But he's Chashud ala Shevuah. Chashud ala Shevuah means he's done it already. Did the Bet Din know? He'll swear falsely. So in such a case, v'na'afochu, we flip it. So for example, let's say right now I come and I say you owe me $100.
He's not name.
Who? No. One more time. I come and I say you owe me $100.
Yeah.
Now you come and you say I only owe you 50. Now you one second. There's no edim, right? I come and you owe me $100. He says 50. So now technically, what do you have to do? You swear, and then you only have to pay the 50. Yeah, very good. The person is chashud ala shevua. Why? He swore falsely in the past. Yes, he swore falsely.
So they don't even take it.
So what they do is they flip it. Instead of him doing the shivua, I do the shivua and I take out the 100. You understood? I flip because we learned it many times, right? That means basically, ima ben adami kenegdi hu chashud ala shivua, hofchim et השבועה, ובמקום שהוא נשבע ונפטר, נפטר הכוונה הוא פוטר את עצמו מזה, he's exempting himself from it, אני נשבע ואני נוטל. I swear and I take. Yes, 100%.
Maybe now
Fine.
this
One second. Fine. Now what happens? What happens if they're both chashudim? They're both chashudim al shivua.
Both not reliable.
They're both unreliable. So what happens? It goes back to the original source, meaning that whoever was chayav the shivua at the beginning, since he cannot make the shivua, mitoch shenu yachol yishava, he has to pay. He has to pay, exactly.
So bottom line is, although we said both of them are not reliable, although this is the case, but still, party number one does get the money and get benefit. It's not reliable, but he still get the benefit. Why?
Of course.
He gets to the source and he's paying the 100. So it's not fair either.
No, it's 100% fair because technically speaking, the other guy was chayav the Shevuah. Now he wants to make the Shevuah, but we're not going to accept it anyway.
Okay.
So therefore, the fact that he cannot make a Shevuah and he chayev it atzmo l'Shevuah, chayev it atzmo. No. Since he was mechayev it atzmo in the Shevuah, right? Because he did agree to partially. That's why he's chayav a Shevuah. But the fact that he agreed to partially, that he does owe him something, right? So therefore, the second that he's chayav, and now he cannot pay it, so now he has to actually, he cannot make the Shevuah.
You give him the 150.
So basically, right, you're going to be chashudim on shtehem chashudim. So therefore, it goes back. Chazra Shevuah lemitchayev ba, mitoch shenichol l'shava meshalem. Fine. What's the next case? Hakol modim be'ed echad. That's Rabbi Abba. What's the case of Rabbi Abba? Ta'u gavra dechataf naska mechavre. There was somebody that he grabbed a piece of silver from his friend. He came in front of Rabbi Yami. Rabbi Abba came in. Rabbi Abba was in front of him. So he went and he got one ed. That he did grab it away from him. Elmaleh, so he says, in chatfi, vedidi chatfi. Of course I grabbed it away, but it was mine. Yeah? So Amar Rabbi Yami, he says Rabbi Yami, 1 second. How are we going to judge this case? Shalom, if he's going to pay the naska, he was more dead that he did grab it, right? But nobody's going to, but he could have just said that it was mine. But he says, lekatre sade, there's no two witnesses. Liftere, meaning to cause him to pay, you don't have two witnesses. There's only one witness. To say that he's patur, you have one witness that he did grab it. Lishtaba, once again, lishtaba, for him to swear, once he said, in chatfi di chatfi, have like a gazlan, he's like a gazlan. So therefore, he can't, there's nothing what to do. How do we judge this case? This case is a perfect example that we don't know what to do. To tell you that you're patur, to tell you that you're chayav, there's not two witnesses. To tell you to your patur, you have one witness. To tell you to make a shevuah, you said that you grabbed it. Now, the second that you said that you grabbed it, you're already a gazlan. So now you're saying, Kilu, that it was yours. Now, how do you say that it's yours? You have to make a shevuah. But the fact that you already admitted that you stole it, meaning that you grabbed it, you're already a gazlan. And gazlan is not believed on a shevuah. So you can't make a shevuah either. So what do you do with you? Meaning, how do you judge such a case? Elmaleh Rabbi Abba, 1 second. Elmaleh Rabbi Abba, hava le mechuyav shevuah v'nechol yishava. Mechol mechuyav shevuah v'nechol yishava, meshalem. He says, really, be'emet, in this case, remember that one witness obligates you a shevuah. But the thing is, again, you couldn't make the shevuah. The fact that you couldn't make the shevuah, you have to pay. Because that's the general rule. That is called the din of ed echad Rabbi Abba. Okay, that's what it means. Hakol modim be'ed echad. Why? Because this ed echad is going to obligate you money. So Amar Rav Papa says, Hakol modim be'ed echad shu chayav, hakol modim be'ed mitah shu patur. Everybody agrees by ed echad that he's going to be chayav. Everyone agrees by ed echad that he's going to be patur. Hakol modim be'ed mitah shu patur. Ta'amale ledida, that he went, that we're talking about over a case that a man came and he testified to the woman herself outside of the bedin. And when she came and she made him swear, lo amalu lebedin, he didn't say it to the bedin. He was kafar be'edut. So in such a case, it's going to be patur. Why? Because the woman doesn't need his edut. Because she could go to herself to the bedin and just say, met bali. One more time. What was the case? The case is, I'm going to ask you a question. A woman comes to the bedin and she says her husband died. Is she believed? Everybody will believe or not? Yeah. She's believed, correct?
Yeah.
Of course. A woman comes to the Bedin and she says her husband died, she's believed, and therefore she's allowed to get married again. Yeah? If a witness comes, one witness, doesn't matter whether it's a man, woman, servant, whatever, he comes and he says her husband died. Is he believed? Yes, also. Yeah? One witness is also believed. Right? Afiru edut isha is believed. A woman is, everyone's believed. Here, by ed mitah, he's going to be patur. Why? Because what? Yeah, the Tnan was we learned in the Mishnah. Haisha she'amra met bali tinase, met bali titaben. She comes, she says her husband died. she's going to be relieved. She would get married to somebody else. She would have to do yibum. Everything happens. So therefore, you see from here that she didn't need the ed. So when this ed comes and he swears to her that, and then afterwards she doesn't need him in the bedin. So since she doesn't need him in the bedin, so he's going to be patur from Shevuot Edut, because I don't need him. He's superfluous. I don't need him, right? The other case was akol modim be'ed mita shu chayav, right? Because how could it be that you have ed mita shu chayav and ed mita shu patur? So the ed mita shu patur is this case. Why? I don't need his testimony. She could have come by herself. So I don't need this ed. Hakol modim be'ed mita shu chayav delo amar lalidida velo amar lo levedin. He didn't say anything. Ha'ed kafar beduto legamre, and he was hichish that he didn't know anything about it. So in such a case, the woman has to actually come and bring edut, right, to be matil, to get married. And therefore, the kfirato shela ed is stopping her from getting her ketubah as well. Right? So therefore, in such a case, they're going to say that it is going to be an edut, because there it's going to be an edut which is causing money. So therefore, he's going to be chayav shevuat edut. Shema mina, we learn from here. Mashbia ede karka, right? The chayav. So he says that we learn from here that really be'emet, if somebody's going to come and he's going to testify about karka, and then he says he didn't know anything about it, he's going to be chayav shevuat edut. So it says the Gemara, dilma de tfisa metaltalim, is maybe it's be'emet she grabbed metaltalim, right, while the husband was still alive. And in such a case, she could actually collect metaltalim for the ketubah. And therefore, it comes that that's why the ed is going to be chayav in Shevuot Ha'edut. Says the Gemara, 2 dots. Kafar echad ve'odah echad. Right? What happens if one of them was kofer and the other one was modeh? Hashta, now he comes, he says, so the kofer is going to be chayav. Hashta b'zeh achar zeh tetavah kafre. If you told me that one after another, that both of them are going to be kofer, and it comes out that the Rishon is going to be modeh, right? Amarta, you said that Rishon is going to be chayav and the Sheni is going to be patur. Kafar echad ve'odah echad mibayis. So then what's the effect then? If one of them was kofer and one of them was modeh, obviously the one that was going to be kofer is going to be chayav. So says the Gemara, Lotzicha, what are we talking about? Kafru shnehem. Both of them were kofer. V'chazar echad mehem ve'odah b'tok kedei dibur. And one of them then retracted. The Kamash Falan comes to teach you tok kedei dibur kedibur damai, that it's still considered kedibur rishon, that it's still kayam, and therefore the ed yachol lachzor bo, right, within the tok kedei dibur. Meaning like this: the only time that we believe you, to change your words is tok kedei dibur. After tok kedei dibur, we don't believe you to change your words. No, we're talking about bifnim. Kevan sheigid shuv no chozer magid. The second that he testifies, gamarnu, and nigmar hasipur. איך הוא סופרים? מה?
למה הוא חייב 5?
בישלמה לרבי יוסי, says the Gemara, I understand according to Rabbi Yosef, the mukila lahu, that he's going to come and he's going to put the halacha in the Mishnah of kafru shneim keechad, like Rabbi Yosef Gilileh. That he says that you could both testify at the exact same moment, no problem. But Reisha, efshar letzamtzem, v'seifa, isachamin, the Seifa is going to tell you that tokei dibur is like dibur dami. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, that he says that it was kafru shnei adim b'tokei dibur, so the Reisha is tokei dibur and the Seifa is going to be tokei dibur. Why do I need two tokei diburs? So says the Gemara, I would have thought Mile. When do we say tokei dibur? Is kfira u kfira. But kfira ve'oda'a, maybe I would say that it's not. We don't say this halacha. Kamash Malan comes to teach you that whenever we say tokei dibur, is on anything. Meaning the tokei dibur could even be between a kfira and a hoda'ah. It doesn't have to be both the same thing of Shalom Shos, that they're both kfira. Okay, fine. And then we're going to continue Bezat Hashem on Sunday on these 2 dogs.